Menopause is a natural stage in a woman's life that marks the end of her reproductive years, typically occurring between the ages of 45 and 55. Yet it remains a topic that is often misunderstood and rarely discussed openly. It is officially diagnosed after 12 consecutive months without a menstrual period and is driven by a decline in hormones such as estrogen and progesterone. And for many women, the transition actually begins years earlier during what we call perimenopause, bringing quite a range of physical as well as emotional symptoms, including your hot flashes, night sweats, sleep disturbances, mood changes, fatigue, and difficulty concentrating. Beyond these symptoms, menopause can also increase the risk of certain health conditions such as, of course, osteoporosis as well as heart disease. Well, for this conversation, we're very pleased to be joined by a specialist obstetrician and gynecologist, Dr. Nontobeko Somlota, journalist and TV producer here in studio with me, Ms. Hlela Mquqo, as well as Nokuzola Ndwandwe, also joining us virtually. She's the founder as well as the director of Team Free Sanitary Pads. So, ladies, what a pleasure. It's such a pleasure to have all of you on this very important topic. A very good afternoon to each and every one of you. Hlela, I'm going to start with you because you're here in studio. I mean, talk to us about your experiences as you navigate this phase of your life that we call menopause. What have you found the hardest to grapple with in terms of your symptoms? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Alicia, and thank you for having me. It's a very difficult time of my life. I started last year when I was 46. I started gaining weight when I was 100% committed in gym. And then after gaining weight, I developed joint pains. And then I had an issue with periods that will come and not go, will come and not come. They will come for this month and then not come for about 3 months and then come again. And then the regularity of the periods and also the fluency of the period is one of the major frustrations for me, because you will come to work not knowing if you're going to go or if you're not going to go. And then all of a sudden, you're at work and then you have an accident. And number two, you do not even have clothes to wear because you are heavier. I gained about 10 kilograms.
What?
Whilst I was going to gym. Didn't change anything that the way that I was eating. No, I didn't change anything. And then you start having cravings. After that, you have to fight with the cravings. But but here you're here. And then you have brain fog, you know. You will go to a room looking for something and you forget.
Oh, my goodness.
You want to call Alicia, you pick up your phone and you're like, Ghana, who was I going to call? And then you just forget.
Why are you making this sound so scary?
It is scary. And honestly, when you're starting the process of premenopausing, it's scary and it's frustrating and it's difficult for you as a woman because you do not know how to navigate with it. And then when you go to doctors, they do not know that you are there yet, even though you are giving them everything that you are going through. The first doctor that I went with said to me I had arthritis because I said I was talking about joint pain. The second doctor said I was in the stage 1 cervical cancer. The third doctor said I had an STI. Only the fourth doctor was able to say to me, even though your hormones look normal, but you are perimenopausal, because not everyone who is in the perimenopausal stage will have the hormone tests will show that you are actually perimenopausing.
Wow!
So it still is a difficult journey, but at least now it's easier because I read about it. And I talk to people about it. So at least I have people to talk to now. I have actually created a community for myself to ensure that we as women who are over 40 talk about the experiences that we have.
Let's go to Dr. Somlota, because I suppose we need her to actually just lay out what this actual, the concept of menopause actually is. Dr. Somlota, thank you so much. I'm sure you can hear us now. Thank you so much for your time. Maybe talk to us and medically lay out in brief what perimenopause as well as menopause is. You've just heard Hlela's story. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, ladies, and good afternoon to your viewers. Thank you for having me. Well, perimenopause, like Hlela was saying, is a time in a woman's month where a number of things change. And this is primarily about their menstrual period. So the period will change from being the normal, regular, as in month to month. Instead of that, they start seeing a skip. Sometimes you will go off like on without your period for like a month or two, sometimes even longer. And with the change in your period, you also start noticing certain symptoms and how you feel. Like what she had alluded to, the brain fog. All of a sudden, you cannot recall some of the things you used to easily. And there are some symptoms that you may start experiencing in your body, which may be hot flashes that may come, they settle, they go away, and then they come back again. But perimenopause is before that final period after 12 months. So you may still get your period and your symptoms may still go away until you are in that final phases of your period, which is where you get into your menopause.
Thank you so much for that clarity, Dr. Nokuzola. I mean, welcome as well. As a woman in the sanitary industry, I suppose we want to know what some women have opened up to you about when they actually start going through menopause. I suppose the first sign would be, of course, noticing a drastic change on their cycles, therefore using less sanitary pads. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me on the show. And yes, they have come forward, especially with the type of menstrual products to use. They have experimented with the fact that they wanted to go organic and they wanted more information around how organic cotton menstrual products can actually assist in terms of their symptoms, that they experience irregular bleeding. Sometimes they have a heavy flow, a flow that doesn't stop for a certain period, of which it's irregular and it's not normal. And so, which is why when we fight for change and we fight for transformation and for policy reform, we call for a menstrual health rights bill that actually includes the fact that we need more education around menopause and that we shouldn't treat menopause as something that is of a disease, but rather it's a natural life process that women go through. But women often need support and resources around, when they go through menopause. And there's often stigma around it, and women being, discarded as, ageism, as being old, as being, not needed in society, of which it is wrong. So we need to change the conversation around how we address menopause in society. And so those are what I get from the stories that come from women, is that they still want to feel included in society. They still want to go to work and experience a quality of life. However, we need to end the stigma around menopause, which is around menstrual health as well.
Dr. Somlota, let's bring you in before I bring back Hlela. I mean, we have actually brought this topic to try and ascertain if all women of all races with a different genetic makeup actually experience menopause or perimenopause the same way as you heard Hlela's story. Please explain this to us. And also, you heard Hlela there. She says she went to about 3 different doctors who were not able to give her a proper diagnosis. So this can easily also be misdiagnosed.
That is so correct. Thank you for that. We do see, from studies that the different races will affect how women experience menopause. Like we know that your women of color may experience symptoms of menopause more than, your fellow white ladies, or they will experience severe symptoms, or they may experience the hot flashes and other symptoms much longer than the other women. But I think having said that, we also may have underreporting in terms of symptoms of menopause from the other racial backgrounds because of the socio-economic and socio-cultural differences that we know about. So not every woman will go and consult a doctor when they start experiencing these symptoms. And that may in itself, it cause a confusion in terms of understanding the extent of menopause and how it affects different women in terms of their socio-economic and socio-cultural background. But yes, there is clear-cut evidence that it affects them differently. Your women of color and the women that come from like a white background, for instance.
Very interesting indeed, because Hlela, we were talking about this before coming to studio, and we're hearing different stories about how the impact and the effects actually affect each and every woman. And it was Black women that we spoke to. So talk to us about how did you get the information that you needed, and how did you work around the stigma, and also how are you managing your symptoms at this stage?
Oh my God. First of all, perimenopause, it kills your confidence.
My goodness.
It kills your self-esteem because a lot of things change in your body. And you meet people who are going to tell you about your weight and, you know, make you feel like
is it a gradual
there is something
change,
wrong with
Hlela,
you.
or
It is a
it's
gradual
drastic?
change. It is a gradual change. Like I say, I gained 10 kilograms then, but now I am on 15 kilograms more than I was before. So it is a gradual change. And the most frustrating thing is the fact that there is no one out there who is willing to talk about. My sister, for instance, is a nurse. The only symptom that I knew about menopause is hot flashes. She didn't tell me about all of the other ones. I had to go and read about everything that has got to do with perimenopause and menopause for that matter. And honestly, for the stigma to move away from this issue, and there's nothing, by the way, there's nothing wrong with being perimenopausal. There's nothing wrong with aging.
It's part of the process of life and a woman's stage.
My thing
of growing.
is, you are getting into your wisdom stage as a woman.
True.
You are getting into your more matured stage as a woman, which is how I got my confidence back, because I knew there was nothing wrong with being 47 and going to 50. And yet I still have friends who are saying, no, I'm not there yet. And I'm like, guys, at some point we're all gonna get there.
True.
We will have different symptoms, but bottom line is everyone's gonna get there. And there's no need for us to run away from it. There's no need for us to shy away from it. And I feel like it depends on us as older women to create awareness to the 30-something-year-olds and 20-something-olds, not hide that at some point you are going to go through this biological change in your body.
In fact, it should be part of everyday reproductive health education.
Exactly.
And I suppose the doctor is going to agree with me there. Nokuzola, maybe just come in there. I mean, in your view, also as an advocate for women's reproductive rights, I mean, why do you think this topic is such a safely guarded one, yet affects so many people in so many different ways, that talking about it more openly could actually lead to women finding better ways to actually deal with the symptoms when they do get to that certain stage in their lives?
I think it has to do with the stigma. Like Hlela was saying, that we have an issue around information sharing. Some women are scared, especially when you're going through the stage of menopause. Your self-esteem is targeted, like Hlela was saying. So some women are scared to open up and to actually share the experiences, that they're experiencing physical changes in their bodies, they are experiencing hormonal changes, they're experiencing mood swings that they actually cannot control, of which it's not wrong to talk about it, because, I mean, at the end of the day, you're just going through a natural biological process and you need that support and you need the resources. And so also the misdiagnosis as well, the treating of menopause as some form of a disease that a woman is going through, I think it also has some form of an impact as to why the conversations are not as, as brewing and as gaining the needed traction that it deserves. And so I feel that we need to have more conversations. We also need to have policy reforms, especially grant women menopausal leave in the workplace so that they can actually, have that time off to actually go through the experiences and be able to identify the experiences as, a normal part of growing up and, of aging. But also we need to deconstruct the mentalities in society around the fact that menopause is not a disease. Menopause does not mean that a woman has expired or that she should be discarded from society and sidelined. In fact, as women reach menopause, they should be more included in society and more included in the fight to end period poverty and to educate young women and young girls around the experiences that occur when it comes to menopause. So I feel that that's like the vital part of the fact that we need more education around menopause, and we need more women to open up and come forward with their stories in a confident manner so that they can also regain their confidence during that time of menopause.
Absolutely.
I would like to add to what Nokuzola is saying.
Yes,
then. We don't know what we are going through, right, as women.
You can't identify
exactly.
at first.
And now you are a married woman, or you have a committed partner.
How does it affect your partner?
And because you don't know what is happening, and you have to go out there and look for information. And you are changing at home. You are always angry, you are always irritated, you have low libido, you have dryness down there. Like, there's a lot going on in your body. So I feel like as women, it is up to us to go through the journey with our partners so that we avoid, if you can look at stats, most women get divorced in their 40s because of everything that is going on that you don't know as well.
Very interesting.
So it is very important for us as women to go through this journey with our partners. Let us get information, come back and teach our partners about it.
Absolutely. Very quick closing remarks there, Doctor.
I think, like the ladies have said, menopause, I think it is high time that, unlike what has been happening in the past, because our mothers and our grandmothers never used to, speak about menopause. It was as though it's a shame or it's something that should not be spoken about. But I think as the women of this current generation, we owe it to our daughters and granddaughters to stand for what is right for women. Absolutely. Because menopause is a natural phase. I mean, it's part of life as a woman, and it's time that we acknowledge that. And I think women should also not view menopause as an event that when you get the hot flashes, that's your menopause. And once that is done, then it's over. Menopause is a journey. It's an ongoing journey until, one is actually gone. So we need to look after our health, because menopause is not about the hot flashes only. There's so much that changes in a woman's body when they go through menopause and perimenopause. So which is why we then need to look after our health. And we need to get guidance in terms of what is needed, what changes, how can we navigate this phase of our lives safely. And
Thank you so much, Doctor. Unfortunately, we're out of time. I would have loved to continue on this. I mean, Nokuzola there was proposing that we get menopausal leave, Hlela, just like we do get maternity leave. I think that's a great, suggestion. Ladies, it's been a great discussion. Thank you so much for the information, Hlela. Keep sharing your story. You're encouraging others and us as well. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for that informative discussion. That is all my female panel there. Dr. Nontobeko Somlota, gynacologist, Ms. Nokuzola Ndwandwe, Team Free Sanitary Pads, and in studio with me, of course, the beautiful journalist and TV producer and my colleague, Ms. Hlela Mquqo, helping us navigate the struggles for women as they enter menopause. We're going to take a quick ad break.